that Khomeini appears and says, well, I know the law. I am the person who can set the things in order.
What is your sense of why he was so charismatic? On the face of it, he doesn't seem that charismatic. Seems like certainly for a Western kid growing up, he seemed like an angry old man. But he clearly was charismatic enough to move millions, right? So what was it?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up charisma. I don't deal with it really much in the book, but the more I've thought about it and read Max Weber, he really fits into Max Weber's notion of charisma, being someone. It's not the person himself that creates charisma, it's the situation that permits someone becoming charismatic. And according to Max Weber, people obey for basically two major reasons. They obey because of tradition, what the established law tells you, custom. And then there's the modern type of obeying because institutions, modern law tells you to obey. Now, so there's these two forms of legitimacy. But if there is no normal legitimacy, there's a breakdown of legitimacy, there's a vacuum, then you could have, for Max Weber, prophets appearing. For him, charisma is something supernatural, comes from God, some beyond. It's the person then speaks, and what he says is more important than what custom tradition has said. And of course, it's before there is a institutional, modern, bureaucratic legitimacy. So I think what in Iran happens is after 53, when legitimacy breaks down because of the coup, there's a vacuum of legitimacy, and even the constitutional revolution becomes illegitimate. So in this vacuum of lack of legitimacy, that Khomeini appears and says, well, I know the law, I am the person who can set the things in order, and I have authority beyond basically either tradition or bureaucracy. So I can say, I can set the law. So in Christianity, you have Jesus saying, well, the law tells you this, but I tell you something else. And what I tell you is more important than the traditional law tells you. And that's what real charisma is. And people then listen to that person because he is setting up a new form of legitimacy.
Oh, it blows my mind. That is such an interesting take in an age of Instagram where we we assume charisma is pearly white teeth and walking on the red carpet. This is a really interesting take on charisma. Partly being the person at the right moment in history saying the appropriate thing that is going to move the masses.
Yeah. And also basically saying, don't listen to the past, don't listen to bureaucrats, don't listen to people who are in authority. I'm the real authority.
But you have to believe. I mean, I don't know. You tell me. I would assume part of that is you have to believe the authenticity of the person, right? If they're not, if you don't think they're authentic, the charisma isn't so shiny.
Yeah, and that also, I think this ties into his radical rhetoric that's appealing to people, and they're willing to follow him because he seems to be promising things that they want.